The rules of life, the fundamental principles that govern all living things, written in stone, seemingly immutable, etched into the very fabric of reality. We believed they were unchangeable, absolute truths. Or so we thought. But what happens when those stones begin to crack? What happens when the foundations of our understanding start to crumble? For decades, biology was built on a simple division, a neat and tidy classification system that seemed to explain everything. Prokaryotes, bacteria and archaea on one side, the simple, ancient forms of life. Eukaryotes, plants, fungi, animals on the other, the complex multicellular organisms that dominate our world. Prokaryotes, tiny, ancient, the first inhabitants of our planet, no internal compartments. Their DNA floats freely within the cell, a simple, elegant design. Eukaryotes, larger, complex, the pinnacle of cellular evolution, with organelles, specialized compartments that perform specific functions, like tiny organs within the cell. This two-domain system was the foundation of biology, a cornerstone of our understanding of life's diversity, taught everywhere. From high school classrooms to university lecture halls, it was the accepted truth. Prokaryotes were the simple ancestors, the starting point of life's journey. Eukaryotes, the complex descendants, the result of billions of years of evolution. The line between them seemed clear and absolute, a definitive boundary that separated the simple from the complex. But nature doesn't care about our categories. It doesn't adhere to our neat and tidy classifications. It scribbles in the margins, adding exceptions and anomalies to our carefully constructed rules, blurring lines we thought were permanent, challenging our assumptions and forcing us to reconsider what we thought we knew. Sometimes we find something that doesn't fit, a puzzle piece that refuses to slot into place, something in the gray area, a biological enigma that defies easy categorization. These moments force us to rethink everything, to question our assumptions and challenge the very foundations of our knowledge. The story of life isn't finished. It's an ongoing narrative, constantly evolving and full of surprises. We're still in the early chapters, with so much more to discover and understand. And then, in a place no one expected, a remote and unassuming corner of the world, scientists found something that shattered the rules. A discovery that would rewrite the textbooks. Not a minor exception, not a slight deviation from the norm, a fundamental challenge to our understanding of cells. A discovery that shook the very core of cell biology. This wasn't just a new character. It wasn't simply another organism to add to the list. It was a plot twist. A dramatic turn of events that changed everything we thought we knew. A microbe, single-celled, a tiny organism invisible to the naked eye, but unlike any prokaryote or eukaryote ever seen. A completely new form of life, unlike anything we had ever encountered. Something in between, a missing link, a transitional form that blurred the lines between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, a living fossil that blurred the lines. A relic from the distant past that challenged our understanding of evolution. It opened a new world of possibilities, a new avenue of research, and a new perspective on the origins of life. The discovery sent shockwaves through science. It sparked debates, ignited passions, and inspired a new generation of researchers. It forced us to redraw the map of life, to create new categories and rethink our understanding of the relationships between organisms. Suddenly, the story of life was more complex, more nuanced, more intricate, and far more fascinating and more exciting than we ever imagined. A thrilling adventure into the unknown, filled with unexpected twists and turns. The rules weren't written in stone after all. They were merely temporary guidelines, subject to change in the face of new evidence. They were waiting to be rewritten, waiting for a new discovery to challenge our assumptions and expand our horizons. And that's where our story begins, at the intersection of the known and the unknown, where the rules are challenged and new discoveries are made, with a microbe that changed everything, a tiny organism that revolutionized our understanding of life on Earth. Meet Sukunaarchaeum, a microscopic marvel that's rewriting the textbooks. A name inspired by Japanese mythology, specifically the fearsome two-faced spirit Sukuna combined with the archaea domain, one of life's fundamental classifications. This naming reflects its unique and somewhat contradictory nature. This microbe isn't just another archaeon. It's not just another organism in a petri dish. It's a transitional organism, a crucial piece in the puzzle of how complex life evolved on Earth. Imagine the evolutionary tree, the grand diagram of life's history. At the base, you have bacteria and archaea, the simplest forms of life, the very foundation upon which everything else is built. Eukaryotes, with their complex cells and nuclei, sit at the top, representing the pinnacle of cellular evolution. But there's always been a mysterious gap in between, a missing link that scientists have long sought to understand. Sukunaarchaeum is a living snapshot of that transition, offering unprecedented insights into this critical evolutionary leap. It's like finding a fossil that connects two worlds, a Rosetta Stone for understanding the evolution of cellular complexity. Part of the Sukunaarchaea superphylum, a group named after Norse gods, it's related to other mythically named microbes like Archaeota, found near hydrothermal vents, and Archaeota, each contributing to our understanding of this crucial branch of life. These are our closest prokaryotic relatives, offering a glimpse into our deep evolutionary past. But Sukunaarchaeum stands out, even among its extraordinary relatives. It's not just its genes, the blueprint of its existence, it's how it's built, the very architecture of its cell. It has features we thought belonged only to eukaryotes, the complex cells that make up plants, animals, and us. Under the microscope, scientists saw internal structures, distinct and organized, compartments inside a prokaryote, a cell traditionally defined by its lack of such internal organization. It was a prokaryote trying to be a eukaryote, blurring the lines between these fundamental categories of life. This discovery redefined what a prokaryote could be, challenging our long-held assumptions about cellular evolution. And it opened a new chapter in the story of our origins, promising to rewrite our understanding of how life became complex. The story of this groundbreaking discovery doesn't begin within the sterile confines of a high-tech laboratory, filled with gleaming instruments and complex machinery. No, this revelation took root in a far more unexpected place. It began in the seemingly lifeless, oxygen-deprived depths of deep-sea mud, a world teeming with microscopic secrets waiting to be unearthed. It was Japanese scientists from JAMSTEC, the Japan Agency for Marine Earth Science and Technology, who embarked on this extraordinary quest. They ventured deep into the Nankai Trough, a challenging environment located approximately 2 kilometers beneath the ocean's surface, where immense pressure and perpetual darkness reign. For over a decade, with unwavering dedication, they meticulously collected sediment cores from this extreme environment. Each core held the potential to unlock secrets of early life. Their mission, searching for the elusive Sukunaarchaea, a group of microorganisms believed to be the closest relatives to eukaryotes, the domain of life that includes all plants, animals, and fungi. But growing these microbes in a lab setting proved to be a monumental challenge, pushing the boundaries of scientific ingenuity. These Sukunaarchaea are incredibly slow-growing, exceptionally picky about their environment, and shrouded in mystery, making them notoriously difficult to study. To overcome these hurdles, the team painstakingly built a specialized bioreactor, a sophisticated piece of equipment designed to precisely mimic the extreme conditions of the deep sea. They carefully fed the bioreactor with the nutrient-poor mud from the Nankai Trough, and then began the long, patient wait, an experiment that would stretch on for years. 12 long years later, after countless setbacks and unwavering perseverance, something remarkable finally happened. Something finally grew within the bioreactor. Through meticulous techniques, they successfully isolated a single, incredibly slow-growing microbe from the culture. Initially, based on preliminary analysis, they tentatively identified it as a member of the Archaeota family. But when they peered closer, using the powerful magnification of an electron microscope, what they observed was even stranger, far more unexpected than they could have imagined. This unique microbe, later officially named Sukunaarchaeum, possessed long, intricate branching tentacles extending outwards from its cellular body. And even more remarkably, inside this archaeon, other bacteria were found living in a close symbiotic partnership. It was a prokaryote, an archaeon, actively engulfing other prokaryotes, bacteria, within its cellular structure. This act of engulfment is a behavior thought to be a crucial step, a key event in the very origin of eukaryotes, the complex cells that make up all multicellular life. They hadn't simply stumbled upon a new microbe, another addition to the vast catalog of life. They had unearthed a living model, a tangible representation of one of life's greatest and most transformative leaps forward. The long-sought-after missing link in the evolutionary chain wasn't missing anymore. It had been found. It was alive, thriving, and waiting to be discovered, hidden within the deep-sea mud. What sets Sukunaarchaeum apart? Its shape, not a simple sphere or rod, but a tiny cell with long, branching arms. like a microscopic octopus. This complex form hints at dynamic interactions with its environment. Its lifestyle. It lives in close partnership with other microbes, especially methane-producing archaea. They depend on each other for survival. One's waste is the other's food, but the real shocker is its behavior. Sukunaarchaeum's arms wrap around partner bacteria, creating compartments on its surface. Prokaryotes aren't supposed to do this. Engulfing is a eukaryote trick. Yet here it is, blurring the line. It doesn't have a nucleus or mitochondria, but it's experimenting with complexity. It's a prokaryote with eukaryote-like ambitions, not just a missing link, a living demonstration of how complexity could evolve. It exists in the space between two worlds, and it's rewriting the rules. To see how radical Sukunaarchaeum is, compare it to familiar cells. Typical bacteria like E. coli, tiny, simple DNA floating in a single open space. Eukaryotic cells, much larger, full of specialized compartments, nucleus, mitochondria, organelles. Prokaryotes are studio apartments, eukaryotes are mansions. Sukunaarchaeum, it's an archaeon, so it should be a studio, but it's building extensions, long arms that create external compartments. It surrounds partner microbes, outsourcing complexity. No mitochondria, but it partners with bacteria that do the job. No mouth, but it engulfs with its arms. It's an intermediate strategy, neither simple nor fully complex. The path from studio to mansion wasn't a sudden leap. It started with a few sheds in the backyard. Sukunaarchaeum is the missing blueprint. It shows us how complexity can evolve step by step. The divide isn't as sharp as we thought. The origin of eukaryotes is biology's great mystery. The leading theory, endosymbiosis, a host cell swallowed a bacterium, which became the mitochondrion. But what kind of host could do this? Prokaryotes have rigid walls they can't engulf. The missing host was a ghost until now. Sukunaarchaeum and its Asgard relatives are perfect candidates. Their genomes contain eukaryotic signature proteins genes once thought unique to eukaryotes. These genes enable cell-shaping movement and internal membranes. Sukunaarchaeum provides visual proof its arms wrap around partner bacteria, a primitive form of engulfment. The entangle, engulf, endogenize model suggests this is how complexity began. First, entanglement, then engulfment, finally, true organelles. Sukunaarchaeum isn't just a relative, it's a living model of the process. The gap between simple and complex is finally bridged, and the story of life makes sense in a whole new way. Sukunaarchaeum forces us to rewrite the textbook. The two-domain view, prokaryote versus eukaryote, is obsolete. Life is a spectrum, not a binary. The tree of life isn't three trunks. Eukaryotes branch from within archaea, specifically Asgard archaea. We're not a separate kingdom, we're a weird offshoot. Sukunaarchaeum shows complexity can evolve gradually, not by miracle. It started with symbiosis, not conquest. The origin of our lineage is a story of partnership. This microbe reminds us how little we know. The answers to life's biggest questions might be hiding in the mud, and the story is far from over. Sukunaarchaeum is more than a weird microbe, it's a window into life's hidden architecture. For most of Earth's history, life was microbial. The visible world is a recent flourish, microbes built the foundation. Sukunaarchaeum marks the moment complexity became possible. Without it, there'd be no trees, no animals, no us. This evolutionary leap was the gateway to everything macroscopic. It also changes how we search for life elsewhere. Maybe alien worlds are filled with complex, in-between creatures. Sukunaarchaeum shows evolution isn't just competition, it's cooperation. The leap to complexity was an act of partnership, and that's the real story of life. The story of Sukunaarchaeum captures the spirit of science, curiosity, patience, and wonder. It began with a question, led to the ocean's depths, and took 12 years of waiting. The result? A discovery that changes how we see ourselves. Science is a journey, not a destination. Each answer brings new questions. The adventure never ends. The map keeps expanding. There are still mysteries everywhere, waiting for curious minds. Remember Sukunaarchaeum, the ancient microbe in the mud? Its story is our story. The adventure continues.